This morning, another woman was murdered by her husband. This is the second case in past 4 days. Can Kosovo and how can Kosovo better combat gender-based violence?
One of the ways that we've engaged around the world on gender-based violence issues is really about making sure the voices of survivors and those that are affected are really heard from when we're making legislation, when we're talking about trauma-informed approaches, and making sure that that component is really taken into consideration. We need to talk to families, and we really need to engage men. We've found that one of the best times to actually engage men on conflict-related sexual violence or gender-based violence is after they become fathers. They're very open to, everybody wants their family to be successful. Your family is successful if you are able to have a family that grows up in peace and prosperity. And talking to them about, you want to have a successful family, your children will be better educated, they will grow up in a family that is full of love and be able to have a better future. Almost every father we talk to is able to say, yes, I want that, and really sets forward that trajectory of having a peaceful and hopeful, loving family.
What could be immediate steps Kosovo can take to stop these murders taking place in Kosovo?
I think one of the important things to do is have those dialogues. Again, talking to many of the survivors. There's so many incredible women-led organizations here in Kosovo. We actually look to Kosovo to teach the rest of the world on how to work with survivors. And so applying those same efforts here in Kosovo on the domestic stage, I think that's probably the best place to start. I think one of the areas that we've seen that has been particularly helpful is, again, bringing those voices to the political stage, so talking to parliamentarians. Certainly this president, I saw her very emotional over this particular case as well as others, and looking at solutions that actually are real. In post-conflict countries everywhere around the world that we deal with, there is cycles of trauma that actually occur in every generation. So making sure to recognize that and address it as something that is something that we know will happen. There is a trauma that happens from conflict that we need to make sure that we're addressing.
In Kosovo, many of these victims have reported violence previously and have sought protection from the institutions, which then failed because they got murdered. Should there be more serious measures at place?
My sister is actually a police officer, and so we have long conversations about the role of law enforcement, the role of prosecutors and judges, and that entire system as well, doing trainings and providing immediate trainings for those first responders on how to deal with those cases, how to flag when something is going to become something that is more problematic. So making sure that we're providing support to law enforcement officials, support and training to prosecutors and judges on how to actually do this work and do it in a trauma-informed way. That's also very important, something that we've seen successful around the world.
It's exactly judiciary in Kosovo that is often criticized for sentencing very low these murderers. Should these cases be reconsidered, how they're handled?
I think training, again, both for judges as well as prosecutors and defense lawyers, the entire judicial system, having more trauma-informed and more survivor-centered approaches really does change how those cases are really addressed.